Hello again there, friends and fans. Raptor here, and welcome to Settlement Survival, a game available now on Steam and also has a free demo for you to download if you want to give it a try yourself. Heavily inspired by Banished, so much so that they actually put it in their description on their Steam store page. But rather than continuously adding more and more mods to Banished, a game that's about 7 or 8 years old now, developers who've grown up playing that game, especially when they were in school and growing up and whatnot, have started to make their own Banished-inspired city builders. We're seeing this a lot more now, which is great because Banished really set the precedent for things like managing your city by managing the labor force, making sure everybody had different jobs, storing food and firewood, and really making it a more hardcore, realistic experience rather than just spending money to build buildings. It seems like an amalgamation of many great games such as Stronghold and Anno 1800 and also Foundation have come together for Settlement Survival. Now again, this game is about $15 on Steam, but is on sale for 10% off too, which is insane because they plan to add a lot more modes. It looks like a really beautiful game too. There might be combat in the future, and there's some large buildings that we can build too. So it feels like a Banished 2.0 with a lot of mods installed, but it is its very own game. Let's go ahead and jump into a new game now and build the glorious city of RAPTORIA again. If you've watched this far, make sure you smash that like button and subscribe, and let me know if you're new here down below in the comment section. I would love to heart your comment as we rocket towards 1 million subscribers. That is insane. There's more game modes coming to this game too. We got the Vikings, Twilight Town, Live Long Night, and Sandbox mode to come in the future. But right now we have a standard mode, which is very similar to Banished. But this game goes beyond that, where once we've really set up our city and everybody's got some great food and have everything that they need to be happy, we can then expand into industry and really conquer the entire map and do some decent and really complex specializations, which makes it feel a lot more like Anno 1800 that way too. Easter Island is kind of a little bit more difficult, where we have more limited resources and it's more about trading and waiting. But today we're going to get started with RAPTORIA Prime, so again, good glory to RAPTORIA and good on you for putting that down below. Let's go with RAPTORIA Prime. There we go. And let's go ahead and pick a random seed here. I guess we'll just click a few times. It mostly will spawn you somewhere around the equator, as I'm sure that there's going to be other maps coming in the future. Desert maps and maybe perhaps some maps that are always constantly frozen, that experience winter all the time, or some that never experience a winter. So there's our seed. We'll set the map size to large just to see how big it is. We'll set it to easy too, as that gives us just a lot more resources so we can see more of the game in the shortest amount of time. And we'll turn on specialty stuff, which allows us to get many different blueprints. All right, if you're ready, I am 2, 3, 2, 1, let's go. Settlement Survival. Here we go. Well, here we are in the beautiful valley of RAPTORIA. We have a gorgeous lake and a wonderful river that winds through all these mountains and trees around, and we can now select an area to choose for our initial site of development. I think this riverbend would be a fantastic place to build a city, so we'll go ahead and get started by building it somewhere around here. We can expand our city into this area very soon, but we'll build our main city over here somewhere to get our people homes and such. You can actually see the game clears out a really big area of space for us to see what's underneath, so that when we do settle the area, we definitely don't destroy anything we don't mean to. Like, for example, these black rocks on the left are iron ore, and these large mountains on the right can't be constructed on, but we can build mines there for later, so it's a good idea to be near some of these resources. Man, oh man, is there a lot of iron here. That's insane. There's also buffalo down here, and when we place our city, check this out. Survivors have chosen a place to live and settle down. Fantastic. Look at all the food options on the left side. These are all food that we can grow or trade for or find by foraging or gathering and or hunting too. Geese, turkey, for example, we can domesticate them or hunt them in our wonderful city. We also have to worry about things such as the health of our people. So if you've played Surviving the Aftermath before, then you're definitely familiar with that too. Look at this. We got turkeys around. We've got ducks around. There was also buffalo over here. So our lands are certainly plentiful with all the different things that we can get. Now our people have settled here with a, it's like a little marketplace where everything can be bought and sold, really just buying things for our people to be able to live and store it at their homes. We also have a little builders guild which can employ people to build new houses, which our people desperately need, and also a durable storage yard which will be used for storing all of our goods, of course. Right, now first things first, what we need to do is click on the harvest resources, and we want to clear this area out so 1, we can build buildings, and 2, gather resources so that we can build those buildings. This is not the type of game where you just spend money and a building pops up. we actually need our people to gather resources to do that. So we've given them instructions to do so. And while they're working, look at all the things on this screen. It is insane. Up at the top, we have to worry about happiness. On the right side of that is the average health levels, which can be controlled with clinics and herbs and other things like that. We also have ourselves a development tree. So this is the tech tree in the game, and this unlocks more buildings than we're ever going to see, at least in this episode or in this series. So again, if you want to see a full series, let me know. Just spam it down below, full series, and I would love to see your support on that. Oh, look at these buildings. It's crazy. We got forest farms, we've got corrals, we've got plantations, and that's just agriculture. We also have the ability to process salt and eventually make canned sardines and different types of breads. We can also do some heavier mining and more advanced construction for things such as advanced homes and different types of bridges and structural support, and also quality of life for entertainment, things like hospitals and bathing and whatnot, education and logistics and trade, where we eventually can build some large docks to have bigger boats come in and do much more trading. And of course, some of the larger endgame things that we can put down right at the start in order to build. If we check out, let's see, I think it's under one of these tabs here. Yes, the Great Castle and the Great Temple. So you can see this would be one of our end goals here, to build the Great Castle of RAPTORIA right here at the edge. And, of course, that takes an insane amount of materials. So we would have to trade for most of that stuff and or build it. We can also do a grand temple, too, which seems to be like something that would belong in a desert region. So that's what makes me think we'll probably see other different types of regions. Maybe we could build an Egyptian empire inspired by Egyptian times or Roman or whatnot. So maybe we can get all sorts of different styles of buildings. But there is so much to cover. I cannot wait. Let's go ahead and make ourselves a road here, too. We're going to make a large, road over this way to where we're going to build ourselves a lot of buildings. Now, this is kind of a little bit tighter space, but it'll work out. We'll be able to build like a clinic and a hospital and a church here, and then build all of our city buildings around it, try to pack people in there, and meanwhile eventually use this area for farming, as once it's cleared out, it's a lot of good farming area and area for animals too. All right, looks like everybody's done a great job of clearing out most of the map there that we asked them to before. Let's go ahead and make some roads here. We're going to try to make things lavish. We're going to make it really nice. We're going to do like a triple wide road there and a triple wide road there. That way the farmers can bring all their stuff up to the marketplace here, and we'll build ourselves an initial building, which is the boarding house. This will allow us to get 24 people some housing. We start, I believe, with 30, so we'll kind of need to house a few more people than that. But this is a good initial start, and we'll build that somewhere along, perhaps here, and we'll take the other lands for farming a little further away. I don't know exactly how fertility works in this game just yet, but there is different ways to make land more fertile by using fertilizer. Makes sense, right? And so that'll be something we'll use a little bit later in order to advance and accelerate our growth of our people. Now, we're not able at the moment to build through these mountains, but we can eventually build tunnels, and we can build bridges to the other side. And when we build hunting camps too, they won't be able to access the other part of the map until we've done that, until we built a bridge. So if we want to have hunting and gathering done on both sides of the river, well, the hunters can go anywhere unabated by any sort of work area. So they'll be the most important group to worry about there. We're going to make ourselves a large intersection here, and then we'll make another one that goes into town. Maybe a large bend here as we continue to ask our people to cut down trees and move rocks and iron and whatnot out of the way. It's going to be a big area. Let's go even bigger than this, because we know we're going to need it. Okay, well, next thing we're going to do is add some more roads around the little camp area here, and some more warehouses. These ducks, these buffalo, all these creatures around here, turkeys, can all be domesticated, and we can eventually have them in our pastures and kind of put them into coops and whatnot, and use them for eggs and meat, and cull the herd as soon as we get to a certain number. But for now, things will be quite simple. We'll start with a few homes around this area too, and we'll also put down a well, and that'll be used for firefighting and also to give our people water. So that's going to be a factor. Food and water, very important. We'll need those to not die to death. Very important words of wisdom. Write those down. Okay. Let's go ahead and put two homes there. We'll also put a well on this side. Now, some of the buildings in this game, I admit, are kind of like a weird shape. But, like, for example, the well is actually a 4x4 building. It's huge. It's huge. It almost could be updated to, like, the size of a water tower from modern days. But it's okay. We'll go ahead and put that there then. And see if we can put that down next to the road that will eventually expand down this way. And so our road will go here, and we can put some nice little roadways leading to like the front entrance of certain buildings and just make it look nice. If everything's a spreadsheet and too efficient, I don't really prefer that. I want everything to kind of look like it has heart and flair, and sometimes has been, just built at the time because they needed it, and then eventually built around it, like so many things. All right, our people are now immediately starting construction on the boarding house. You can see all the materials that they brought back. There's herbs and so many things in storage. We have lumber, we can make sawmills, and so much more. Now, if you're playing this for the first time, I would definitely recommend building that boarding house first, as well as a couple of houses, because the boarding house can be used later on for migrants that will come to your city, and that'll enhance your population. That's going to be one of your biggest drawbacks in this game, is having a lot of things you want to build, but of course you need people to run them, and you also need farms in order to feed your people too. So it's going to be a constant battle between farming, manufacturing, and kind of growing your city and giving them the skills that they need to be the best workers for you that they can be. We'll build ourselves a little dirt road out there. I'm going to build some more additional warehouses next to the marketplace. We'll leave an open air warehouse over there. I think this one is 4x4. It looks like, yeah, probably a 4x4 warehouse here. So we'll go ahead and build a double up on that. And we can actually give these different types of commands to have different items within them. So if we click on this button up here where there's 4 squares, one of them is actually highlighted, we can tell them yes or no to food, and then if so, what types of food. So for example, if we want everything stored here except for textiles, then we can just turn that off, and they won't put textiles there. You can then transport that to, like for example, the clothing shop, and then that way the weaver can take things and turn it into textiles and then ship that over to the tailor, so that way they can make clothing. That's definitely a thing you're going to need to worry about. On the left side, we'll see all sorts of alerts like hunger, thirst, crime, for example, is an issue, so police stations will be important, and eventually you will lose people to murdering if their happiness and their health drop low enough. If they become desperate, then that's what desperate people do. All right, another recommendation then for getting started is also to build the sawmill as soon as possible. The sawmill is a great building to put on the water, and then you can also make planks from that, or you can make firewood too, which is another thing to consider for the winters. Another thing to consider is this bar here in the upper right corner, which shows us that we're coming out of winter, going into spring. It'll be then summer, autumn, winter, spring, summer again, and you can see the boat is about to arrive too in about a year. A merchant ship is on its way, but we'll have plenty of time. You can also see the temperature, 49 degrees Fahrenheit. You can change that to Celsius if you'd like, and there's also different measurements here for all of the different people and what they do and how old they are and what how many of them there are and what the fertility rate is, etc., etc. And so you should be able to manage your population a little bit better there and get kind of an easier line of sight on what to do next. So many statistics in this game too. If you're the type of person that likes data charts and whatnot, boom, you can see all the number of people over X amount of years and whatnot. So there definitely is room for spreadsheeting and trying to maximize your setup and your settlement, for sure. Now, surviving the settlement is just kind of one of the things you do in this game. But again, remember, the late game in this is all about the manufacturing and whatnot. So you could get started early and do it right from the beginning, or just try to survive day by day, as some things can be quite difficult, as disasters are a thing in this game too, and not only just fires, but also things like more than likely tornadoes and earthquakes and everything else. All right, our people have done a good job getting started. I'm also going to unlock a warehouse. I'd like to do that. I'll have to find which one that's under. Keep in mind, there is the ability to terraform in this game. Landfills and digging rivers out are a thing that we can do. If we want to make a large canal through here, we can definitely do it. If we wanted to put like a large timber industry and have a lot of things powered by water, we can do that. Now, it's not on the level of Timberborn, but it definitely does allow us to, make like, for example, a shipyard or something along the side. So if we wanted to have a nice square port for the boat to pull over to in the river, then we can definitely do that and build several ports. And so that way we can have maybe several boats visit, or at least have more than one thing stored at a time, and make a large network of storage warehouses somewhere near a dock and make it look like a harbor. Okay, so now we see that the builders from the builder's cabin have come over to the boarding house, which is now been supplied with 60 timber and 30 stone, and construction will be completed pretty quickly. The people don't want to live there. It's not really a great place, so just keep in mind that they're eventually going to want to move out of there ASAP into a regular home. So once you build the boarding house as overflow, it's a good idea to start building initial homes for like a farming neighborhood, and then eventually build a bigger inner city when people require things like schools, clinics, and churches, just to name a few, for their average happiness. All right, it's a good idea now for us to expand our neighborhood here, and what we're going to do is try to do some farming to the east, let's call that. But in the south, I want to do some gathering huts, so that way we can try to take advantage of all the natural plants around and try to get our initial food up, and also medicine. The gathering hut will double as both a gatherer for food, but also medicine too, so that'll be a good initial spot for us to build there. We're going to build another triple wide road, because eventually we'll upgrade this area some more. We can also do fishing, but it needs to be on specific spots on the river. So for example, right up here is an area where we can then eventually build a fishing boat. So this lake for now will be rather not very effective. Looks like somebody was injured too, so we'll have to get off to making a clinic here very shortly, and we'll continue to gather all the stone that's nearby as well. So let's go ahead and tell our people to collect stone in the way of the building of the large city. There we go. And some stone over there too. And it looks like they're going to be cutting out some more trees too. So that's a good thing. Let's go ahead and actually cancel a little bit of that. And we'll try to cut down some trees in other areas to make it look a little more thought out and more thinned out, rather than just large cuts of square fields into the countryside. There we go. The music is fantastic in this game. The seasons look really nice. We'll try to survive our first season then by building that sawmill in the north. Well, let's first get started with some food, shall we? Let's go ahead and build ourselves a standard field, and we'll try to build a couple of those over there. We start with random seeds, and just like in Banished, you'll be able to trade and buy seeds from your trader who comes in, your merchant, but also you'll be able to get seeds on occasion from a mayor who may run for office in your city. They may bring things like, for example, a large bonus to workmanship quality or speed, productivity, whatnot, or possibly like wheat and whatnot. You won't have to trade for a particular crop, and then you can just start growing it, and that could be worth a lot of money. And let's go ahead and get ourselves a dirt road down here. Now, eventually we can upgrade to stone roads. It'll be quite expensive, so we want to hold off for a little while. There also is money in the game up here. We have silver coins, which we can get primarily through the grocery store. There's other means to get it, but it'll be one of our first that we'll do here in order to generate coins. And essentially, think of it not so much as a grocery store, but maybe more of a convenience store, or perhaps a general store where people can buy supplies and tools and whatnot in order to put money back into the economy. So we got some nice farm fields here. We're going to start by building a little broccoli field. Nice. I love broccoli. And pumpkins. 'Tis the season for that. Let's start with broccoli then. It's low. I think a lot of these are low yield and high growth crops. In other words, they grow quickly, but they don't give us a lot of food. But we will eventually grow up quickly with the amount of stuff we need to store, so we better quickly find a way to store all that. Let's see, where exactly is the warehouses? Here it is. Under logistics, our top building here, warehouse, gives us on the right side a warehouse and a small warehouse. So one bigger than the other, obviously, but the smaller one requiring less materials, and also is perfect for if you're trying to store like one specific item. Like let's say you have a logging camp and you're just going to be storing lumber or something, planks next to it. That's a good idea, although those are perfect for open air storage as well. We'll start with a small warehouse just to see how it looks. Let's go ahead and build that right over here, and it'll look nice. Maybe at the end it almost looks like a barn or something for the farm fields that are here. You can also store things like, for example, if these were cattle, which these are buffalo, if they were in a field, then of course it could store all the meat from when it's slaughtering time, or leather when it's also slaughtering time, and we can turn that into something for the tailor to use. All right, more homes are under construction. The remaining homeless should be taken care of shortly. And it looks like we need ourselves a clinic, so let's go ahead and get on to the building of the main city by building our road here, going into the city too. The nice thing about the triple wide road is it'll represent from a far distance the main route that it takes to get into the town from the smaller town here, so we'll be connecting several smaller cities together. Everything's shared. All the resources can be shared. Money, for example, from one town settlement is shared with the other one. But you can run things like smaller cities or counties if you'd like to, especially with the large size of the map. So, of course, we've got a large flat area, but each of these rocks can be used for iron ore mining eventually, and stone mining too. And there's other resources around, such as fertile lands for farming, and also resources, seeds, for example, that we can't find elsewhere. All right, we're going to build ourselves a clinic too. Somebody's injured, and that'll continue to happen in our city. It'll take 40 timber, 30 stone, and 30 iron ore in order to construct that. And you see the service area for that, so this would be a perfect thing to build in the city near an area that we could turn into a town hall. Now, there's a small little bump here, and there's a large mountain there, which is a little difficult to kind of manage with, but we'll be able to do it. It won't be too big of a problem. It's nicer just when you have a large flat area, but a good idea to build a clinic as soon as possible nonetheless. So we'll go ahead and put that somewhere where we can try to service the most amount of people. Somewhere around here. Now the people should be able to walk into the city, and they'll have no problem doing that, and be able to get medical help over there. But we're also going to build our gathering hut now too, so we can try to keep that health up. We do start with a few of these things in storage. Right now we have 130 medicine, which is just basically herbs. If we click on that, we can see that it's not just herbs, but also there's soap, which will help bring people's health up, medical alcohol that can be used to sterilize, bandages, ointments, etc., etc. We can trade for that stuff. We can also produce it ourselves for big money. So keep in mind that's definitely something to use to your advantage. All right, let's go for the gathering hut. And of course, the gathering hut, the more deep into the woods that it is, the better that it is for gathering resources. Here, it's quite a lot of mountains around, but I think this is a good spot at least to start and find a few little things that we can use, and they'll continuously refresh throughout the year. In other words, new crops will grow, and then when winter comes, there won't be much to gather. But then when spring comes, all of the seeds will sprout, and it will begin again. We can also do hunting here, as I mentioned. There is all sorts of things in this game, and hunters can go to the north if we build a bridge across, and or any other area separated by water. It seems like every map in this game does have a lake that is a variable degree away from the river. Sometimes it's connected to the river and you have yourselves a nice bay that you can utilize for a port, and other times the river is off to the side with no fish in it, such as here, or other times it's a useful fishing lake and you can get food from it as well. Okay, our people are going to, we're going to speed things up now, and they're going to get to work on building the remaining roads and remaining farm fields. We're going to try to assign people to make winter squash and pumpkin seeds to be planted too, and they just need to clear out the rest of these rocks here too. Looks like a new crop seed was acquired. We don't just have those crops, we also have one more type of crop too. We also have orchards. We can make orchards or groves that can grow things like peaches, apples, plums, and we can also make wine or alcohol out of that, ale or cider, I believe. And a brewery where we can grow agave in order to make tequila, and that'll keep people's spirits up, if you know what I'm saying. Right, so anyway, we've got our basic homes here. We got decorations we can do. One thing I like about this game, too, is that with the decorations, they actually cost materials. It's not just like you're spending money or it's just 5 wood or something. It actually kind of makes sense. Like if we want to make a pig roast, what we can do here is put it down, but it'll take a little bit of iron, a little bit of wood, and a little bit of meat. And those are the things that actually go into it. So we can put down a little cart if we'd like to. That kind of looks nice. It's a 2x2, though, so we'll have to put it somewhere, you know, in a space that'll fit that. We can also put down blank plaza areas. So if we want to put down like a stone floor, it looks like it, boy, I think it actually is something we can put down for free to make it look like a larger city square. If we build, for example, over here, we can build a large square out in front of the clinic, and we can make a nice seating area and maybe some marketplaces around it, that type of thing. All right, people are doing a fantastic job already. There goes all the carrots and the pumpkins. Actually, we have broccoli, which almost looks like cauliflower, but don't question it. It'll be fine. All right, let's go ahead and also build ourselves a one of the most important buildings now, the logging building. So we're going to build ourselves a logging camp. Not a logging camp, a lumber camp. So we just need to find that now. The sawmill, that's what I want. But the water sawmill, we have one that can be built on the water, and we have one that can be built without the power of water. The one with water, of course, is way more productive, so it is a much more wise thing to do that. And you know what? With this flat land here, this is perfect for building a port, and it'll be near an area that we can turn into an industrious area. So we can do mining down here, farming here, and then maybe more manufacturing here, and then ship and store everything there, and then have our main city here too. So we'll have to put a lumber mill nearby somewhere, and then like this, and then we'll go ahead and have it connected. We can move it later. Of course, we can also recycle materials. It's very nice. The game's very generous with how it lets you build out into the water too a little bit. You can build out just a little bit, and so it doesn't have to be, you know, directly in the water too far, and it doesn't have to just be in the open either. It's a good mix. All right, we're going to build ourselves the sawmill there and start making fuel for the winter. You can also use animal dung. And if you have a lot of, for example, buffalo, you can use that dung to fuel your industry and your homes to keep everybody warm. Doesn't sound pleasant, but it's better than being dead, I suppose, especially in the beginning years. But then again, what are they going to do? The gas company hasn't been invented yet. There we go. All right, so fantastic. Would you look at that? We've got ourselves a ton of food in storage. Water will be coming in too. In fact, I don't even think we need 2 people working here. We'll go ahead and let some of them go to allow more people to do other things. 2 on the farms is a good idea, and we should probably hire a few more builders too. We'll go ahead and open that up. A few more slots, so that way everything can be constructed quickly. And laborers should be able to transport anything else that needs to go. So that's a good thing. So with the extra hands in the building, that should allow all the roads to be built, which of course will increase people's movement speed and thus makes our city much more productive. If people can get to work faster, it means more gets done throughout the day. And then when those products are ready, they can be shipped to the warehouses or to the ports much faster. All right, well, the clinic is going to have to be our new top priority building. Some people are getting wounded. We now have 2. This could be anything from a sprained ankle to a severe broken bone, so it might be something minor. If we look at the citizens too, by the way, there's a third-person control mode here where we can actually follow the person, and here you see ankle sprained, slow movement. So they can either go to the clinic and feel better faster or just kind of tough it out in the fields, which is not a great thing to be doing. We should probably just give her the day off. But yeah, if you want to see your city in kind of a more of a first person or third person's perspective, you can almost see it in first person because, you know, if you just pretend you were the one walking behind this person like they were like you're 7'2" and they're 5'9", that type of thing. That's what it definitely simulates. All right, so the other thing that we can do is go down to beans. We also have pea seeds here. So we have vegetables, which we can scroll through beans, and then of course we have orchards and such that we can build too. So there's tons and tons and tons and tons of food that can be made, and not only just raw food too, but eventually made into fine food or simple food too, which means things like toast and biscuits and croissants. It's insane the amount of stuff that you have in this game to be built. So you can literally make like roast turkeys. And so, of course, the better the meals, the higher people's happiness. For now, everybody's just happy to be alive and have something to do, so that's good as well. All right, our storage is looking a little full, but for the most part is well taken care of. We need more people in the city, more and more people in our city. But if we're going to build over here, by the way, with our homes, we also need to build another marketplace. So we could research the smaller marketplace, but I think what we'll do is we'll build another larger marketplace so we can build over there. So we can build a town hall, we can build a repair shop that'll keep our buildings in good repair. Don't need to worry about that for about a year, but I do want to build ourselves a marketplace so we can construct over here. So just like in the Anno 1800, buildings need to be built underneath the veil of the marketplace. So if we're going to build a market, we should probably build it here. And we'll build like a nice little market square around that. We'll find something out here. Look at that. They're cutting out all of those stones and stuff that were there. We're going to have to put all that into storage, but it can definitely be stored on the ground for quite some time. All right, so the top priorities right now are going to be the clinic and the sawmill. Let's go ahead and speed up things even further for our people. And we've made great progress so far. More people will eventually move in and or have children, or those children will grow up, so we better make sure that we've created some more cabins here. I'm going to try to make a few more on this side. There we go. These homes can be upgraded. We can have more lavish homes. We can have homes that are made of different materials that will then allow them to be more resistant to cold, which then means that, of course, we can get more people to use less fuel, which means we don't have to put as much effort into creating fuel, and we can put more effort into creating planks and or use other alternative fuels like the dung, or at least use fuel more effectively, which will be important. Okay, we're going to make this our main city here for our farming town. And we'll put some decorations here, and we can add some more buildings. That'll increase people's happiness, so leaving a little bit of space is a good thing. And people will like that. Let's go ahead and see what we got for... yeah, there's things that we can collect called tiers in this game, too. And apparently they can be gathered by the hunters. I'm not sure how that works, but it seems to be kind of a... like a special currency that you can use to build things like the Rubik's Cube. Things for fun. That just make you go, oh, lol, that's funny. And that's about as far as that goes. Let's go ahead and build ourselves a hunter's camp next to the little warehouse here. Actually, this is some pretty good farm space, so I would like to actually build it here instead. And if we're going to build a hunter's cabin here, we're also going to build a textile mill nearby too, so we can build ourselves a tailor's workshop right on this side, so they can work pretty much hand in hand in order to make goods right next to each other, and right next to the warehouse here, but also we'll build another warehouse up here as well, so we can dictate what goes where. And we're also going to build another open storage area here for the lumber mill, so that way logs and planks can be stored here along the river. So we'll do like a 2x4 here, and another 2x4 here. And we'll have those differentiate later on. But storage space is going to be at a premium. So if they whatever needs to be put down for now, we'll organize it later. Just so that way we have space is a good thing for now. Alright, fantastic. Well, look at that. It's almost the first winter. Autumn is coming, so harvest season is almost upon us. Some of the roads are now starting to be constructed. Fantastic. And with all this iron around and with all these tools being used to build roads, they're going to burn through that quickly. So we better build ourselves a blacksmith as soon as possible. So we're going to go ahead and build a blacksmith probably up by the lumber mill too. So that way we could probably store some things across the yard from them. There we go. And that's fantastic. So we can put a little bit more storage here too. So we can do like lumber and iron for the blacksmith, which then can ship out tools back to the warehouse, and then just straight up timber and planks here as soon as all that stuff is constructed. Alright, is the clinic up and running? It's going to be a while. They just cleared the area, so it'll be a little bit, but we'll add some more decoration. Just if you close your eyes and don't think of anything, if you think of a beautiful city, then there you go. Perfect. You're picturing Raptoria. That's eventually what we'll work our way up to once we get there in Settlement Survival, but it'll be a little while. And, of course, there's got to be a lot of work to be done in order to move all these resources and get them stored for the winter. All right, winter's almost upon us. Fuel is at 180. That's going to be a little while until the winter or the water sawmill is ready. But it can still run in the winter. So that means that even if we have just a little bit of fuel in the winter, we can put everybody on that. And with the increased productivity, we can pull the nose up on the nosedive of the available fuel, and it shouldn't be too big of an issue. So we're basically building everything that we need for the start, but there's always more and more and more and more and more. You can never have enough stuff in this game. You always want to store more and be prepared ahead of time in order to use it. We can build ourselves a ferry here too, so this will be an area for us to start trading from without additional research. Right now, we are generating development points, which we get from time passing, and we can increase that by building schools and universities and research institutes. But for the start, it's not too important. Although I will say the other important building that I found is to work our way down the agriculture line to the forest farm. And once you grow the forest farm, it gives you almost unlimited trees, and it's very important. Apparently, pastures are also very important too for continuous food. But we'll need a few more points to get down that line, and we'll also need to make some clay. We'll need to start harvesting clay. But with only 14 people, we have 30 people in the city, whom of which, let's see, 14 of them are idle and 10 are actually working. We do want a good idle force. The idle force is actually our laborers. If we take a look here, we can see that there's a bunch of people working as laborers, and they'll do all sorts of transportation jobs and or jobs of cutting down random trees that we've requested that they do. And we can keep track of that on the left side under raw materials, which is in this case timber, and construction materials, which is in this case is stone. So we want to make sure we keep those numbers up. Well, we hired a lot of people to our construction guild, so they'll be working on a lot of that. And we'll continue to ask people to basically move everything away from the road now. And we want to widen that up a little bit. There we go for the workers over there. And we'll widen this area up a little bit too. Don't want to clear cut everything, but we certainly want to have an open area. And all this extra food will go into storage. I don't think anything like that goes bad. It just gets used eventually. So always make sure you have more than what you need for food or for anything. Make sure you've got way more than what you need. It's always important to have that. Okay, clothing is coming down, but we got a lot of stuff being built. A lot of timber needing to be supplied. Timber supplies are at 734. That'll disappear quickly with all those homes there. Let's go ahead and harvest more trees. Go ahead and ask for this area to be harvested. And we'll try to cut some squares out here and there. Smaller fields now. And I believe these trees will grow back, so even though it might look like an eyesore for now, it'll definitely be something that'll fill in later. We can also build a forestry building that'll grow that back, though it's much more effective to do the farm. Alright, let's speed up time one more time. And we have our wonderful gathering station ready, so we're going to get a few more people on that for medicine that can be distributed and or basic foods. We want some more things coming in from that one. And the landscape provides us with peas, herbs, agave, wild vegetables, oats, and mushrooms. So it is kind of dependent on how much is growing around us. It's a good way, though, to help out providing a supplement to the large farms, which will definitely provide a little bit of food, but not like oats and cereals like that. Look at that, our warehouse already full. Can you believe that? Luckily, we're already building a second one. Just needs to be constructed. Materials just need to be delivered. And here at our wonderful sawmill, we can now finally choose to build fuel, which will turn timber into domestic fuel, aka firewood. So now we've got the wheel turning, although it is the wrong way, I guess. It looks like the water's going down this way, but it's really just kind of more of an art style than it is actual force. So long as this is actually in any sort of water, even if you put it in the lake, you can still have the windmill, or rather the water wheel turn. Windmills are part of the game, though. There are windmills for the production of flour, so that's a thing too. All right, looks like the clinic has been created. Johanna here is working at the clinic, and now our injured people have a place to go. And we've got a marketplace, so we have a place to expand our city. So at the start of the next year, we can start construction on laying that out. Health will continue to deteriorate a little bit as it was brought down a little bit by the people who have been sick, lowering our overall health score. But we still have plenty of medicine, and more will come in over time. So that will be a thing that we won't have to worry about for too long. Lots and lots of good food coming in, and we'll probably have to do a pasture at some point, too. Let's go ahead and try that. Pasture for the buffalo. Let's go ahead and build a nice big pasture here. Probably a 15 by 15 if we can manage it. We can do a 14 by 17, that'll be fine. And we'll start with the buffalo and have them breed. We can also do turkeys and chickens and geese, as I mentioned. And those are great things to provide a lot of diversity to your people's diet, which I think also affects their happiness, but also is a really good thing for the trading. Speaking of trade, let's finally decide on what we want to build. I think I want to go with something a little nicer than just the basic ferry, so let's try to build something a little more advanced than that. Eventually in this game, you will build buildings that require literal steel beams and such, so again, picture a pre-Anno 1800 leading into the 1800s, so maybe like early to mid 1700s to early to mid 1800s. For a lot of this stuff. We won't be able to see trains or anything like the mid-1800s, but it's still pretty darn cool. Let's see. So we wanted to have ourselves a larger trade depot. So we have a sea transport, a dock that we can put down, a carving workshop. I think we will start with the ferry then, just to get the boat operational. So let's go with that. We'll start small. I also am under the sneaking suspicion that the building that you build, like for example in this case the ferry, if you build a ferry, it brings in different types of items than if you build a dock. Now, I'm probably wrong about that, but I don't know. I'm just a little superstitious that if we don't spend big, then it's probably not going to work out for better items. Items that we want, of course, are like to be able to trade firewood for food, that type of thing. Very simple exchanges. And there we go. Our little pasture is going to have some problems with the large mountains nearby, but luckily we're able to build quite a large structure there. Awesome. The warehouse now is down for additional storage there. And the blacksmith is down too. Fantastic. Let's build some iron tools. We have Fanny here making some tools. We've got a few people working and making fuel. Fuel is at 0 now, so we definitely need to increase that for the winter, which is pretty much upon us now. January is here and we have no fuel. Well, now it's starting to come in, so we'll definitely produce more of that as they'll be working full-time. Roads will also allow us to have more people going back and forth, so hopefully some firewood's supplied shortly. Looks like we have, I'm going to go ahead and shut down the tailor's workshop for just a little while as we're starting to run out of our workforce. But that's where the migrants come in, and that's where comfortable homes come in to have people, get all cozy and eventually have children in order to then eventually grow our town. Looks like we'll need some more water, and it looks like we've got ourselves fuel holding pretty steady, but eventually we'll make a chopping station too. Although this is just more efficient for the start. Planks will be needed eventually. We will need planks. And those will be needed for the fishing dock. So that's something to consider too. Alright, let's see what else we want to build. A repair shop. Good idea. We'll put that here on the corner. And a repair shop will make sure all the buildings are in working order. Otherwise they collapse and we have to build them again. We'll also build ourselves a town square. Probably at the end of the road. That kind of would be a cool building right about here. There we go. And of course with the mayor we can make more policies and whatnot for our city. And it looks like February has arrived. And check that out. The ferry is operational too. So we can prepare to sell items to people who may come around. Let's go ahead and do... let's see if we can sell tools. I see we can sell lanterns, stone... What is that? Stone tools? Oh, yeah, we're making iron tools now, so our tools are about to be even better. So as soon as these people break their stone tools, we'll have more tools and better tools to distribute. For now, let's just go ahead and sell a raw material of iron ore. Let's go ahead and sell maybe, let's do 500, just to see how much we could get for it. And we'll go ahead and put that on the list. So 500. And I think the people who work here will go out and grab that and then put it into storage, so that way it can be sold when they arrive. So a little bit of Kingdoms and Castles here, a little bit of Banished, a little bit of Foundation, a little bit of Anno 1800, and a little bit of all the city builders we've played so many times before. I don't care how similar they are or how different they are. Starting with a city is just fantastic every time. Looks like we were getting ducks this time. Nice. Sitting ducks over here. Very nice. So we'll have duck meat, feathers, and dried animal dung in order to get our people... oh, looks like the ducks are moseying on over here. Look at that. To get our people nice and fed. All right, we do need to cut some corners in production a little bit. Fuel is okay, so we're going to reduce and get a few more people working some other jobs. We're going to reduce again. Just trying to reallocate some labor until we're ready. We don't need anybody working at the marketplace there for now since there's no homes. And looks like a lot of people are working at the Gatherer's Hut. We'll reduce that too, and we'll kind of reallocate where everybody's going to work. We'll put a few people here on the duck pasture. They should be okay. And they'll be able to eat things off the ground, or the cattle, for example, will be able to eat whatever's in the yard, so that's good. Very good indeed. And the tailor will wait until we're pretty much zeroed out on food. And now road building has begun. Very nice. Looks like we got that nice clinic over there too. Health will kind of fluctuate. Things will bounce around a little bit as things are still being constructed. And some people are still living in the boarding house. They don't want to live there. They're not very happy about that. So we will eventually construct some homes over here then. Now that we've got some coverage with the clinic. So we'll go ahead and make some homes that'll go probably alongside the clinic here. We'll go ahead and build a nice house there. And then we'll see if we can build a road there. And make a nice little neighborhood for these people. Let's go ahead and make a nice little walkway there. Still within coverage of the marketplace, so that's good. So the builders are going to be extra busy. Food is holding steady at about 2,000. Tools are coming down, but will be replaced with better tools. That should allow our overall numbers to increase. Fuel is at 240. We have 900 iron ore, so we can tell everybody who's not doing anything to gather the rest of that, and definitely clear out this area for future building. I like to leave the trees around, but as for iron ore and stone, I like to pick that up. Always useful at any time to build that stuff. Good. And it looks like we've got some fish right there. Interesting, right on the edge. So we could build ourselves a fishing dock there too. And we can go ahead and make some more investments then. So we can do a fish pond. We can do some meat processing. We can do a mill. Weaving is important too if we build a flax farm. And of course that gives us more to export, so we can do more clothing. So at this point we're not even thinking about our own survival. We're starting to think about what do we want and what can we trade for it. Apparently inventory is 0 at this warehouse. That's good. 94% at the other one, so that's really good that we've got plenty of extra storage space. And it looks like we've reached our production limit of fuel. I would like to increase that then to, let's say, 1,000. And have that never stop making fuel until we want to start making planks, which will be soon, probably in the next year. We'll let them keep pumping that out while our people continue to build homes. And they'll continue to remove these trees, and we'll continue to make more room for more items along this road. There we go. Hey, look at that. We got a town square up too. Fantastic. We can go ahead and appoint a mayor as soon as somebody wants to, I guess, wants to run for mayor. Soon enough. Let's go ahead and ask everybody who's not doing anything to also collect food. And now we've reached that point where now we need the population to grow. There's plenty of room for immigrants to come in, which we welcome with open arms because they'll give us plenty of labor and they want to live here and they want to work, and that's great. And we have plenty of room for them. So 24 in the boarding house, that can be added in. And another X amount of people in the homes, too, so we definitely can get that constructed. The road can go down and be upgraded to stone, and we can build all sorts of industries along here. And we'll probably have like an area branch off here to go down into this valley for production here and here, mining here, more production here, and then of course storage and more shipping here. So we'll probably end up building like another warehouse. Probably never a bad idea to have more warehouses than what you need. Otherwise, it's going to make your production a slog. We'll probably build a small warehouse here if we can. Nope. We'll probably build one on the other side then. We can always build one on the other side, or maybe a larger one back here. I want to save the area for more industry, but this is a perfect spot for a warehouse too. And a little water well, just in case there's fire. Let's go ahead and make another well too. Now it looks like we're next to the river, and you'd think people would be smart enough to go there, but I'm just not going to take any chances. We're going to make a couple people be like full-time firefighters. Plus, some of the industries do pull from wells. When we make, for example, ale and beer and such, they take from water sources, and some of the other processes, I think, like tanning, might do that as well, although I'm not sure if that's yet available, but we've got plenty of stuff going. Look at all these ducks now. Look at that. Current number is 26 ducks. We have a maximum capacity of 40. We can turn that down if we want to have slaughtering. And the thing I also forgot to mention is that all of these buildings have the option to be upgraded with special upgrades, similar to like Tropico, where, you know, in this case we can have, you know, like wooden benches and gears and such that increase production. So we can give every building a very specific upgrade and make it more productive. Check that out. We got our boat here. The boat is here. And we can now trade for coin if we want to. Let's go ahead and sell our 500 iron ore, and they'll buy it for 1, which gives us a total there. Let's go ahead and do a transaction on that one. Need to choose merchant good at the same price. Oh yeah, okay. So we can then try to buy something in return. So domestic fuel, whiskey, wine, duck, coal. These are not really anything that interests me. Maybe the tools, for example. So we can try to do 20 of those or something. Let's see what the number comes out to. 900, so we can buy maybe 40. And then something else. Honey, duck, whiskey. No. Let's actually, let me see if we can increase the amount of iron ore. No. So we're trading good for good, basically. So let's do 70 instead. Oh, I have 500, not... I was thinking we had 1,000. Well, we'll do 50 and we'll leave everything else in there. 250 should be just fine. Let's see. Need to choose merchants good at the same price. We should be able to do that. Inventory is 25%. Preferential move-in. Let's see. Oh, I'm looking to buy and sell. Oh, we need to sell first, so let's go ahead and sell to you then. And then let's make sure we also type in, was it 50 that I wanted? Oh, he's leaving now. Oh, we didn't have enough. That's why. But that's how that'll be done. Don't worry, we don't need the steel tools for now. I'm actually happy I didn't spend money on those because we'll end up getting a lot more stuff in storage and selling it for a lot more silver coins. Tools, steel at this moment would be great, but also not great. We'll save some stuff for next time. It's totally fine. It's totally fine. Don't worry. Don't worry. We got plenty of time. So, if you want to see a full series on this one and want me to continue our playthrough of Settlement Survival, make sure you go ahead and click or tap that like button and subscribe if you're new here. We got a lot of work to do, and I may do some work behind the scenes to keep things interesting and push it forward. So let me know what you think down below in the comments section. Let me know if you want to see more. And let me know if you're going to be coming to our 1,000,000 subscriber celebration too. Check the channel and add that to your notifications. And always turn that on for the channel anytime we play a new city builder, a survival game, or in this case, both. Settlement Survival, available now on Steam. 15 bucks and or a free demo. Give it a try. You apparently can go up to a level 100 and get a population of 100 and build and play for a while before you get a hang of it, but it's going to be quite addictive. All right, I'll see you guys next time. Thank you for watching. Thanks for all the positivity, kindness, and encouragement and support down below in the comments section, and I'll see you all next time. Goodbye.